Good evening, paranormal community, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Odyssey Files. I'm your host, Michael O'Neill. With me tonight, because Dave has chosen to go to Metallica instead, is my special co-host, Miss Sena Dyksman. Good evening, Sena.
Good evening, Michael. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Good to hear.
I might have phrased Dave's part of that with a little bit of venom.
Yes, I do hear that. But you wanted to go? Did he only have one ticket?
I think he was offered to go with other people.
Oh,
so it wasn't like Dave.
It
wasn't like Dave had two tickets and was like, "I'm going to take somebody else." I think it was like some of his friends were like, "Hey, we have an extra ticket. Would you like to go?"
Okay.
And when he told me about this on Thursday, I was like, for Metallica, I'm like, last ditch effort approved. So I do not blame him for that. I honestly wish that I could have gone, but I have seen Metallica in concert before, which they are amazing.
Okay.
So I don't particularly need to see old man Metallica now. So I'm all right not going.
So you created so you can't go. Okay, got it.
So I created so I couldn't go. Is that what we're just talking about here?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, because you want to focus on the old, and that was a wonderful experience, and you don't want to see them when they're not that good.
No,
Or they're older.
I just didn't want to spend the money to buy a ticket. I could have.
Oh, there. Okay.
I could have. I honestly had to have the money to have bought a not a scalp ticket, but like those booking tickets that they have all like the front row and the best seats in the house where you have to pay like triple the ticket fee.
Yep.
That's typically the only way I go to concerts anymore is I buy like because if I'm going to go to a concert, I'm going to absolutely enjoy myself.
Okay. Good to know.
And the last time that Metallica was in town, I actually did do that and bought general floor area because they don't have assigned seating, obviously, when you have like metal bands in town, because everybody just gets up and mosh pits anyways.
Right.
And so yeah, I stood about maybe 20 yards from the stage and just very much enjoyed the concert, while my friend Matt, who was there with me, pretty much crawled and scraped his way to the front front row, and then held on for dear life the whole rest of the concert.
All right.
So, and that was his words, not mine. He pretty much said, he's like, I just held on for dear life the whole rest of the show. So yeah, it was a great show, and I'm sure the next time that they run out of money, they'll do another tour.
Yes, and they all do. Yes.
And I will go to that one. I didn't even know they were in town, or I probably would have bought tickets.
Okay.
So there we go. But I do have a couple things before we get into the mailbag tonight that I want to share with everybody. So first thing, paranormal wise, want to welcome two more investigators to my paranormal team, Nicole Daniels and Amy Borkman.
Hey, welcome, guys. Hey.
So they I already told Nicole, have not told Amy, that usually when they know they're on the team. That's not what I didn't tell them.
Okay.
They're both well aware that they're on the team, but typically after they get a few 4 or 5 maybe investigations in, I like to bring them onto the show it's to talk about the differences between their preconceived notions of what an investigator is all about and what has taken place now that they have done it.
Okay. Is it the first time they've been on an investigation team?
Nicole, yes. Amy, no.
Okay.
And Nicole is a big fan of Ghost Adventures.
Oh.
So I actually have to deprogram her before I can train her.
Okay. Yep.
Amy, on the other hand, she has about at least a year with teams out in California.
Oh, okay.
So, and she would probably still be on those teams and out there had she not had to move to Alabama and then back up here to Minnesota.
And why did she move to Minnesota?
Say what?
Why did she have to move to Minnesota?
Why does anybody have to move to Minnesota? Bad luck?
I don't know. Just thought I'd ask. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons, actually. People are glad for punishment because they like bipolar weather.
I was going to say that was the joke, Sena.
Oh.
Way to not get it.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I don't bring you on here for your sense of humor.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just bring you on to laugh at my jokes, not make some of your.
Okay. Just make sure you give me my cue so I remember to laugh.
Hey,
that was funny. Yeah, that was good.
Okay, wow. Never mind. That was just terrible. Terrible.
So, oh my gosh. Okay.
And
I'll try harder next time.
It's all right. I appreciate the effort, even though it was awful.
Okay.
Anyways, so the other thing, and this has nothing to do with the paranormal whatsoever. I just think it's an amusing anecdote. But recently, this is the first time it's happened. I will give Amazon their props. They're typically pretty good at what they do. You know, I have literally ordered, I can't even remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of the heaters that I needed when my heat was out. And I shit you not, within like 5 hours, it was on my doorstep.
Nice.
Like, it's amazing. So anyway,
it is.
I decided that I was going to buy a new lunch bag to take with work. One that was bigger, that would hold more water, more stuff, blah, 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 blah.
Can we see it?
We can, but it's in my living room and I'm not going to go and get it.
Okay.
So, but here's the amusing part of it. So it's supposed to be here Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm all excited. Oh no, I'm sorry, Friday night. I was all excited because I worked Saturday. I worked yesterday and I was going to be able to use it for the first time. Come home, it's been delivered. I walk over the thing and it's a pretty small box. And I'm like, that's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but with how they compress shit nowadays, I mean, when they can do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll see what we got here. I open it up. It's literally the straps. That's it.
They forgot the box.
They forgot the bag.
Oh, does it say? Okay, wait. Does the box say one of two or?
No. That was it.
Okay.
That was the whole thing.
Okay.
They just sent a small little package with the strap, and I'm like, what? This isn't going to hold a lot of water. And so naturally I went on the app and I'm like, refund or return or whatever it is. And they're like, what's the reason for it? And one of the options was like missing parts. I'm like, yep, there's something missing.
Yep.
And and they're like, well, state what's going on. And I'm like, all I got was the strap, no bag. So yeah, they gave me a QR code and everything and ordered me a new one and it got here today. So,
okay.
I'll give them that. And I got the bag.
But did you get the straps?
No, but I do have the straps. I do have.
Okay, so it was just the bag they sent you, so no straps.
No. I have. This bag was complete, so it came with its own straps. In fact, I think that the straps they sent me don't even go to that bag.
Oh, jeez.
Because the straps that I got were in the front pocket, whereas the straps they originally sent me were like wrapped in a cellophane bag.
Okay.
So I don't know what the hell was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like and there was a sticker with the straps that had the description of what I had ordered.
Okay.
So it's like they took this cellophane bag that they were supposed to stuff the bag in and just put in the straps. And it was like, you know what? This should be all he needs. And shipped just just the straps. So I wanted to share that little amusing anecdote with everybody, even though the only thing paranormal about it is whoever packed that thing is still alive.
Now, can I piss you off?
What? Oh, now can you piss me off? Were
Yeah.
you the one that packed it?
No, can I tell you?
Oh shit! If I swear to God, if you say that this is due to Mercury
You said
retrograde,
You said it.
I'm gonna reach through this computer and strangle you.
Yep.
No, for the love of Pete. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, Sena. That does it for us here
All
tonight.
right. Well, thank you. It was a wonderful show. Thank you so much for having me on.
Seriously, one of these days, I'm actually going to do that. I'm just going to cancel the show when you bring that.
I have this, like X up here. I can just like hit that and done.
Whatever. You can. And then I'll go forward and I'll try my best to talk to myself and for however long.
You want to answer the questions that you have. Yeah. Good.
That's right. I could read all 4 stories and then just call it quits for the night.
But you do have mentoring by me.
What is that? What?
But you do have to face me at some time after this.
What? Okay, wait. Say all that again. I know
you're... but sometime I mentor you, so at some time you still have to face me after this.
Well, of course I will, but not on the air.
Gotcha.
And that's when I'll strangle you.
Oh, so no witnesses. Got it.
You can't have witnesses. I'm smarter than that.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, no, I'm not going to strangle you.
Good.
I need you to mentor me.
Because now it's verbally all online that you just said that. So if something happens to me,
the show can disappear. That's no problem. I'm in charge of that.
Oh, that's right. You still not have posted. It's not live.
That's right. Well, it is live, but I can delete the everything.
Oh.
And luckily, nobody's listening anyway.
Oh boy, all your 0 listeners. Okay.
That's all right. It's complete bunk anyways. Like I've literally gotten likes and hearts when there's 0 people listening. So explain how that works. So I don't trust that whatsoever. Anyways, and everybody knows that everything comes in the download after the show. That's where all the people listen.
Yep. Then they can share it and like it, and
that's right.
You have it on 2 places. I mean, you got on here, and then you have it on YouTube. So
right. So just really quick, since you brought up mentoring me, at any stage in my development, will I be able to use the Force?
Yes. Well, okay. So your Force, it's actually mind link, and you know that it's a mind control or mind, manipulate energy.
Mind over matter.
Yeah. You do that every day in life.
Right. But I mean, will I be able to like force choke people?
It's a mind. If you can find somebody who's have a weak enough mind that would allow you to manipulate their mind, then yeah.
I see. So it's not that I'm actually controlling the energy around them, but I'm screwing up their mind to the point where they feel like they're being choked.
Correct.
Interesting. Well, go Darth Vader. Huh. I did not consider that. For all of those Star Wars fans out there, we just ruined that for you. And we're 3 for 3. So we have the afterlife. What else did we destroy? Earth. We destroyed Earth. And now we destroyed Star Wars.
Yes.
So excellent. Sena, always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyways, we got some amazing stories for you. So let's start.
Okay.
The Odyssey Files is proud to present the mailbag. Alrighty. So I did choose ones that I figured you might have some good insight into.
And I normally don't.
Well, never mind. there are some that could be like investigative type.
Okay.
or something
Oh,
like
okay.
that. But I chose them because they're like up your alley, is what I'm saying. So anyway, here we go. Number 1. I work security and had a strange experience tonight. Hey all, I work at a condo complex by the beach, probably not around Minnesota. I've been here for about 3 years, and my coworkers who have been here for 10 plus years always talk about seeing and hearing spooky stuff. To give you some background, I'm a skeptical believer. In the past 3 years, I never had anything happen that I couldn't debunk until tonight. I was on the second floor doing a patrol. I have a radio that I carry with me when there are 2 of us working. Normally, I'm here by myself, so I don't usually have it on me. While waiting in the lobby of the second floor for the elevator, the radio suddenly kicked on like someone was trying to talk. I took it out of my pocket and heard a faint little girl's voice saying, "Can you see me?" twice, followed by, "I'm right behind you." My initial thought was that my coworkers were playing a joke on me, so I just put the radio back in my pocket. When I got back to the guard shack, I told my coworker that it was a funny prank. He looked at me, and he's not the type to lie, and said he had no clue what I was talking about. So apparently I had my first paranormal experience. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I think you're right. I have had that happen multiple times. The first time that I had ever heard, and it was a girl's voice, a little girl's voice too. We had left. We were doing a 2-day event at Edinburgh Manor in Iowa. Very, very popular, known haunted location. And we had come in early for night 1. We had brought in all of our equipment. I think we had set up the cameras just so that everything was ready to go for when we came back. And we left to go to our hotel, and we were going to come back in a couple hours. So I left a recorder going, just to see what we could pick up. And during that time when nobody was in the building, no one, it sounded like the PA system had kicked on, and there was a little girl's voice, like a small, I don't want to say small child, but I'd probably say maybe close to 10, something like that. But a little girl's voice came over a couple times. And right now, I can't remember what she said. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to listen to the clip, but I mean, you could tell what she was saying. The first time it was like, "Hello," I think was the first one. And then she came over again like 15 minutes later or something like that. Like, this was spread out. And it was crazy because apparently the PA system doesn't work at this place. And so, I mean, some people thought maybe we had left our walkie-talkies on, because we left all of our equipment, including our walkies, for that night at the place. But I don't remember ever leaving them on. I typically don't. So there's that. And then I have been on investigations where it sounds like you don't hear the voice, but you hear the click of the walkie, like somebody hit the button.
Yeah.
And can it be possible that another team bumped it? Absolutely. Which is why we typically throw that out. I've never heard a voice come over the walkie. I don't think. I have a vague recollection of maybe once that happened. And I think I was like, "Did you guys say something?" And I don't even think they responded, to be honest with you. So yeah, it does happen. I mean, I don't want to say it's no different than the spirit box, because that uses radio frequencies too, but I think it's a tiny bit different, just because you're not actively like hitting the button and trying to get communication going.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to hear your thoughts on, is that a normal thing? Because I mean, right now we have 2 different experiences, mine and this person's, where we both heard a little girl talk. So is that some sort of spirit?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm not. Well, let me finish before you say
Oh,
yes. It is obviously it's a spirit, but
mhm.
is it a spirit of a little girl or is it a spirit of something not nice that is trying to trick us? That was my question.
Both.
It can't be both
No, because you've got
unless
no.
it's an evil little spirit.
Keep it a little spirit. Some of them do. They'll change their voice to get you to talk to them. But in I'm just trying to see what as you're talking. No, there's children all over the place, and what people don't think, they keep thinking that the existing place is what's really haunted. It's actually what existed before that,
I can see that.
and that's what's happened. So whatever was there before that building, no matter how long ago, that's what was haunted, or that's what things take. That so it was a home of some sort or plantation, whatever that was prior to the building, is where the children came from. And so yes, but they can come in darkness too. But no, these two were from a previous home, a resident that was living there. And it can be also burial ground. Some of them, don't ask me why, but they do it. They will clear out a burial field and they
Oh
will
yeah,
put
they
something
will.
on it. And that's a lot of time has happened.
They did that in Stillwater. Here in the Twin Cities, they tore down the Stillwater prison
Mm-hmm.
and built high-end condos.
Oh my gosh, there's no
And
way in
I so want to know, like I just want to meet somebody that either lives or works for that condo,
heck.
and just I'll bet the paranormal experiences are off the charts.
Oh yes, yes. Because um, where was I? Something with my sister lived in Colorado, and somewhere in time, where was that filmed? At the Grand Hotel, or that hotel there,
Oh, the Stanley Hotel.
the Stanley Hotel. Okay, when I went there to visit one year, they were actually clearing the pet cemetery, and I'm walking by there, and all the equipment. They said they were kind of having problems with, and I kind of heard this from some hearsay, but some of the equipment kept going on and off. I said, "Well, what do you think was going to happen?" And so I'm walking by there, and happened to be when at the end of the day where nobody was there. And as I'm walking by, because my sister told me, and I'm like, "Are they freaking crazy? They think humans are bad." Oh my gosh. And I'm walking by there and literally I'm seeing animals on top of the hill, on the equipment, in the equipment. And I'm like, oh, they are going to so regret this. Oh,
Wait. Are you telling me that spirit animals are petty and vindictive more so than humans?
whoa. They do not want to be tampered with whatsoever. No.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. They were driving those. I mean, literally, I heard that they were having problems with some of the equipment, and that's why it was taking so long. I said, well, what the heck? Did you think you have a graveyard? And these are animals.
Interesting. I guess I never would have put that, Fido would, be such an a-hole.
It's a
It,
resting
it,
place. They don't want to be disturbed.
yeah, but they're animals.
Oh,
Some
wow. Yeah,
people
they're all nice and cute when they're alive.
Well, I mean, I guess here's another question then, and this could almost be put on hold for the second hour.
Okay.
But I'm not going to, since we're on the topic. So, are animal souls not the same as ours?
Can be. Because some adults, humans, in fact, I actually ran across this with one of my friend's dogs. But yeah, they can come back as human. And that's, I don't know how to say this. Sometimes it can be a humbling experience for them, because the dog that she has, I've talked to, and you see, some of them do act very human. And yeah, they were human in a previous life. And this one was literally a like womanizer. And he came back as a male dog. And I'm like, oh, you got your karma back at you. You were definitely put back in your place, because it took advantage of women. So it's like, oh, you're going to act like a dog. We're going to bring you back as a dog. And it
So
was, So that is, yeah, they actually have a dog that was a male in past lives. I was talking to him, and I'm just like, well, hello there. And he's like, hi. I'm like, oh, did you learn?
Probably not.
He definitely could. And the other thing is, he still favors women. Men, he could give, you won't even give him the time of day. He will definitely go right to a woman and be all like, hey, hi, how you doing? And give me attention. And oh, yeah.
I
Mhm.
would.
Oh, yeah. He laps that baby up really a
I
lot.
I have said it for years now that if anybody wants to hire me to be their pet, I am more than happy to do so. Because all I would have to do then is lay around, get pet, be fed. I can chase sticks as well as any dog. I mean, you want to take me for walks? Take me for walks. I don't care. I can do everything a pet can do.
Are you saying you want a collar?
Put a collar on me. I don't care. Put Michael and return to this pace. You know, if lost, I couldn't care less.
Okay.
You know, we can discuss prices. You know, if for whatever. But yeah, hire me as your pet.
Okay.
The
Hey, you're
pets,
putting it out there, so have fun with that.
the pets have the life. I'm telling you.
Don't
I
ask me. Oh boy. Don't blame me with
just
what comes back.
oh Lord. I I will blame you,
Oh.
but because I can't blame myself.
Oh, of course not.
I'm putting that out. I'm putting that out to the universe too. It's never my fault.
Oh, as they're
So
laughing at you. Right. Little human.
shocker. Anyway, I have the sense of humor here. They don't. So
Oh, they have quite the sense of humor. Look what they've done.
they only somebody with a sense of humor would do something like this. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Nice science project you guys got here. Mm-hmm. Yep, pretty funny.
Anyways, um, but okay. So, you know, I was going to say that the whole thing about the Buddhist religion,
Mm-hmm.
is that any human can come back as a fly or a dog or a
Yes.
rock or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you seem like that's not a very it's not a very typical type thing where a human like it's more of a punishment.
This time it was. I just, because I was talking with him, and like I thought, and I looked, and my girlfriend's like, "Can you tell me for sure? Because this is what we're getting." And I looked at him, and I'm talking to him, I'm like, "Oh, so human." And but some, no, some of them will come back because they want to be a companion to the person, and they'd rather do it as animal form than versus human. Tell you, humans have to go through a lot of crap, and they'd rather come back as animals to around
Yes.
than humans, you know. And so that's just, no, it's not always a punishment. That one just happened to be, but no, that's no. I'm just like the companionship with that person want to be, and you know, they're very loyal and they want to be there for them. So they'll come back as cats, dogs. Yeah.
Well, being a cat would be a punishment.
Because you don't like cats.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm clairsentient. I'm supposed to know this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's because they have an
So
attitude.
no, they don't. You should see. I get such a sense of amusement when I approach homes when I'm delivering to
Mhm.
them, and there's a cat like right in the doorway. Like their eyes just get huge when they look at me, and I'm just glaring at them. And I'm like, and I just there's glass between me and it. It's not going to hear a thing. I'm just like, I'm on to you, and they're both. And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Well, you, when you see this big giant coming near you and giving the other eye, they're like, oh.
Exactly. They know. They know I'm on to them. Not fooled by their cuteness or anything like that. But honestly, that I guess that's interesting to me. I was just assumed that all souls were alike. You know, it doesn't depend. It doesn't matter whether they come back as pets or whether they come back as humans. But you're saying
Mhm.
that unless that's a choice, that there are differences between pet souls and human souls.
Yes and no. The human soul itself has lessons. Some of those lessons can go into animal form, being loyal, being you can even be responsible for it. I mean, that's your human. I mean, those shows aren't wrong. You know, when you see the cartoon human shows, that's my human. Yeah, that's my human. And so it's more of I have responsibilities to take care of that human.
Interesting. Okay. So like Tom and Jerry, that could have been like an ancient rivalry.
Yes.
The Coyote and Roadrunner.
Yep.
So okay, I can get that. I'm down.
Okay.
I got the 411. All right.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I don't have anything to add to the guy who heard the voice over the
Yeah, it's all okay. So I'm just gonna add that real quick. So everything is energy. You did happen to mention like, oh, you know, the frequency of, you know, intercoms. It's like, no, everything is frequency, energy, frequency, vibration. So it doesn't matter if it's a calm or not. It's just like your meters that you use, and they can talk through those. Well, this is the same thing to them. They can actually, you can hear them now.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. All right. Story 2. Repeated experiences since childhood. So I suppose I'll start this by saying I'm super skeptical of all of this. And while I wouldn't say I don't believe, I wouldn't say I believe either. My mom has been a Wiccan, to my knowledge, since I was a little kid. She had always been up to the weird things. I never paid it any attention. She had some mental health issues, so it was easy to write off when she was just being crazy. All of this is to say is I'm no stranger to people who do deeply believe, and I am fairly open-minded. This kind of behavior was pretty commonplace at the home, and I wrote it all off as nonsense. I do still like to read about it, though, which brought me to you guys. I am noticing some patterns, common threads among things trying to communicate our radio frequencies and number repetition. Since as long as I can remember, I see the number 66 at least once a day, every day. I am not religious at the least, but I used to joke about being sadist for shock value in my teens. The early 2000s were a weird time. Lately, I have also been hearing what I can only call static in my head. Not all the time, but also roughly once a day, I'll hear static directly in my brain, like a radio trying to tune in station, but very poorly. It also passes as soon as it happens. So I'm opening the doors. Any speculations? Should I do anything about it, or am I just full on crazy pants?
Before you say, I just want to say she's seen the number 666. You only said 66.
Oh, 3 sixes.
Yeah, 3 sixes. So,
sorry.
Nope, that's all right. But that
Clarify.
brings in a whole new context to the thing that you're seeing the Satanist word and you're not trying to kill the Jedi.
Right. Yeah, it's the 666 is misconstrued. Those are angel numbers, and it's gotten a bad name. It's gotten bad rap for being 666, and it's not always bad. Again, we just talked about static, you know, the static in the head and stuff, and that can be more like he's starting to open up. And so if he's getting static, we hear now angels talk in frequencies, and so it's high pitches. And he's probably starting to tune in, and it might be static to him right now, but eventually it'll be a high pitch. He can also be resistant, and if he's resistant, sometimes it can cause that as well. Because he said he's very skeptical, but now he can be open-minded. Well, that can cause a problem because the mind is a powerful thing. The sequence, though, I'm just going to tell you, if he's continually seeing sequences of patterns, they're trying to give him messages, and that is from the other side. But it's also from angel. Whether he likes it or not, he's very connected to the angels. The mother was trying to train him in, knowing that he's going to be very connected. He's very gifted, but doesn't want to believe. So he keeps finding reason for things happening or showing up. These are all messages for him. He just doesn't want to be open-minded. He's not going to tell you either, but he's got very, very strong abilities. He has clairsentience and he has claircognizance. He knows, but he just doesn't want to believe in that. And he doesn't realize their gifts either.
I feel like you're personally attacking me right now.
No. Did I do something like that?
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, continue. Just can you pretend like you're not talking about me?
Well, okay, I'm fine. You're going to bring that up. As in Michael's case, when you are a skeptic, though, you can shut things down and not allow them in. It can be anybody. If you go, a lot of people when they go through trauma as a child, they will shut, like clairvoyant, clair audio, your pictures, your hearing, your audio, because of trauma like fighting that you've heard as a child. You didn't want to hear it anymore. Pictures, seeing the fighting or being abused, so they shut that down. And so he's probably starting to open up to it again. And it's static instead of being clear and coming through. But he's also trying to deny it. And so it's like putting a plug in. It's starting to come through, and then you put a plug in it. Well, it's going to see it sound muffled then instead of the actual sound. So it's just, he's being talked to, and he's getting messages, whether he likes it or not, and it's his ancestors.
So you said something that I've never heard before. Shocking, I know. So you're saying, like, I'm not surprised that the whole 666 thing has been skewed and manipulated and twisted over the centuries. But you're saying that 666 is actually an angel message?
All numbers are.
Even random numbers?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a sequence, it's a pattern. They're trying to tell you something. The angels talk, they show messages in numbers and frequencies. They don't, they're telepaths and they don't verbalize. So you'll hear it in frequencies and high pitches when they're trying to talk to you.
Right. No, I get that. But, well then, because I mean, okay, I haven't done.
Go ahead. So I'm going to tell you something. If you're, this is the easiest way to look up like 666. My turn.
I was scratching my forehead. Thank you very much.
Angel numbers can be looked up on the internet.
Yes.
And here's one thing that they put on the internet about 666. Angel number 666 promotes you to find balance and align your life with true values and aspirations. So these are good things. These numbers often repeat in lives, catching our attention and spark curiosity. So it even says here too, such numbers as 666, which can gain a reputation for being associated with negativity and fear. However, the true meaning of an angel number 666 is far what popular culture portrays. Its article will explore the symbolism. It just tells you, it's like it doesn't. It's terms of love and career, debunking misconception and shedding light on its true message. It just, look it up. Don't believe what we hear all the time. Whether it's shown in movies or not. Movies, a lot are, can be fact, but some can be also very misleading.
I was about to say, I haven't looked it up yet, but what would the internet say about 666? So, I mean, almost like you're psychic in picking out what I was about to say and answering it before I could even ask. I like that. Good call.
Thank you. Thank you.
But so you're like, look it up. Well, how can you trust the internet? I mean,
because a lot of them are common answers. Whether you like it or not, if you're going to ask a question, you're going to get an answer, and it can be what most people like on the internet. But your spirit guides are always there, and it's like, oh, you're asking us a question? Okay, we're going to give it to you. And that's what I always tell you. Your clairsentience, your strongest ability, that's what you use. How does it feel when you're reading that? Does that resonate with you or not? If you're clairvoyant, pictures. It'll show you pictures like, yep, that's factual. Angels are coming through, and yep, they're definitely verifying that. It's trust your abilities when you're reading something or you're seeing something. Does it feel right? If it doesn't feel right, then obviously it's not right. Trust what you get. Your abilities are there for a reason to protect you, but also help you with information.
I agree. Typically, I have found over the last several years that if I feel like something is off or missing or I'm not getting the whole picture, then I know I don't have all of the facts.
Hmm.
And I have learned to trust that, uh, and obviously searched for the answers that I'm looking for in order to there's nothing out there, I don't think, that once I know all of the facts that the picture will be perfect. Like
Hmm.
I can understand it, and I can get it. Um, but uh, people are terrible, and
Humans,
people are terrible.
species, yeah,
Did you say species?
species,
What?
different species that are pulling
What?
or putting.
Whatever. Reptilians are horrible too. Let me just
We
throw
have
that
good
out.
and bad in all species.
All I'm saying is that no matter the species, they're keeping shit from me.
No, you're choosing not to listen.
Agree to disagree.
Everything happens in time and manner it's supposed to, so you only get so much information as you're supposed to, otherwise it changes your future.
That sounded rehearsed.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. Sound like you said that before, and
Maybe.
it's like you memorized the bumper sticker.
No, I probably repeated to you so many times.
Bits and pieces of that sounded familiar. Yes.
Hmm.
Anyways, moving on.
Okay.
Wait, did I say anything about it? No, I didn't. I didn't say my answer.
Dang it.
No, but I mean, I honestly did. I mean, I don't have much more to really add
Okay.
because, like, I kind of just assumed that maybe somebody was trying to communicate with him in some way, which
Mhm.
you pretty much said is the case. Um, so I mean, I really don't have much to add to that one because I was really interested in hearing your answer about like the 666 every day and hearing this frequency every day, and you just kind of took what I thought was going on and like threw it in the dumpster, uh, like a freshman nerd. And yeah, so your whole the 666 isn't actually bad, kind of just turns it all on its head. um, so yeah, I don't have anything more to add to
Okay.
that one. So moving on
Okay.
to story number 3. I think something is wrong with me. I'm sorry if any of this doesn't make sense. I'm not great at explaining my paranormal experiences, so bear with me. My family and I have had a fair amount of paranormal things happen to us, from my mom seeing an apparition to my dad seeing shadow figures in our hallway. So the paranormal is basically our normal. But the strange happenings haven't hurt or harmed any of us in any way. Recently, though, something has been happening to me. It's hard to explain this, but my jewelry has been giving me a burning sensation, but without the burn marks. The best way I can explain it, it's like the metal heats up and I start feeling the heat from it, kind of like when you put a cold pan over a hot stove. The weird thing is that none of my other jewelry does it. It's only a necklace and a ring. My necklace has the Celtic Trinity knot, same with the ring. The weird thing about my necklace is that it's just the medallion itself that burns me, not the chain. I understand that the Celtic Trinity knot can represent the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and I know it can represent the maiden, the mother, and the crone. And other things, it just depends on what you believe in. But I also know it can protect. I know what I'm about to say sounds silly, but I think my jewelry is trying to ward off something in me, or if I'm the something it's trying to get rid of. If I wear the jewelry to sleep, my entire body starts hurting, but not really. It's like whenever you see someone get hurt and you feel it, it's like that. It feels like I got into a fight and now I'm aching from it. Again, I'm sorry if this doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. I don't know what's going on. I've done research about it and found nothing. I haven't told my parents because I don't want to worry them. And I don't want to take off my jewelry because it's part of my heritage. So if you guys know what's going on or can guide me to the proper resources, I'll take anything I can get. So this is another one of those. I'm really interested in your answer, because this is a new one. Like I get both sides of her case, and I kind of went back, and I know this isn't the case, but like the Supernatural episode where they put this like spell on this piece of jewelry and it was supposed to heat up when God was near, that sort of thing. I don't obviously think that that's happening in this case. I just use that as an example. So I mean, I don't know much about the Celtic symbols or Celtic crosses. So I think that's going to be more your area of expertise than mine. But I guess I'm wondering if the experiences that they have had in their house open up the door to something else that is trying to enter her, and is the jewelry that she is wearing is trying to keep it at bay. By the look on your face, I'm completely wrong.
No, you're completely right.
Oh, sweet. Go me.
Yes, because when
their cognizance strikes again.
Yes, no, as something because your it's energy. Everything's energy, but your ancestors have protected you by whether it's a symbol, whether it's jewelry that you wear, and with that is the barrier around her that's protecting her and her ancestors with her. And when she takes that off, that will leave her vulnerable, because right now she doesn't know how to protect herself spiritually, and that's protecting her. And so what's going on is whatever coming in there is heating that off, trying to get her. That's why nothing's hurting her until now. As far as the jewelry, it's protecting her so she doesn't have harm come to her. But if she takes that off, guaranteed something's going to happen to her. They're going to try to possess her.
Yeah, I kind of got that. Like that was the sense that I was getting from this, in that, it was heating up because obviously it's been used, and she's obviously got to be somewhat empathic if she's picking up on like the pain and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if she's picking that up from the spirit that is trying to get at her.
Yes, because her body is being protected. And if something's trying to invade on your energy, that's why she feels achy or hurting, because it's trying to get in, but it's hitting a wall, but she's still going to feel part of that.
And so it'd be almost like if you were to get a wall that you wanted to break down, you would start to bang on it and you would start to try to damage it. And I get it.
But she's not saying if it's internally that she's feeling it or just surface feeling. I mean, she says she's feeling achy, but I'm just saying if she's feeling achy, something's trying to attack her to get her energy.
It's interesting that she went that the symbol or whatever, the medallion is trying to heat up because it might be getting rid of her. I'm like, I can't really see that happening. Like all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I don't like you. Take me off.
Well, the medallion, okay, but people don't realize this. Even though it's on your neck or something, somebody can put a spell on that. It's everything, magic, it's energy. Things can change as well, but it's heating up to protect her. There's something going on there, and she's being protected, but they're also trying to get her to take it off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds about right. Because, I mean, if it's making you uncomfortable, that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to set it aside.
Right. And she's like, no, and she's already knowing, the person's already knowing that's like, no, I'm leaving this on my ancestors. This is for my ancestors, and it's for protection. It's not, so she has to stay strong with this, but she also has to protect herself more so because, and I've talked to people that I mentor, I always say triple up because we're being attacked so much spiritually right now. And this is part of it. She's feeling it because she has one part of protection. She needs to triple up.
Hold on. I'm writing something down here for second hour. Okay. So, I mean, I guess then my advice to this writer obviously is I would contact a reputable and probably pretty powerful psychic medium that would be able to tell you exactly what is going on and hopefully break whatever cords this entity or whatever is trying to do. I mean, this person obviously needs more than just the medallion.
Mm-hmm.
It needs somebody to get rid of whatever this thing is, whatever this thing that's trying to attack her is.
Just needs to learn to protect herself. She's very powerful, but she doesn't realize what she is. And that's probably another reason why they're attacking her. She's probably very bright light, but doesn't realize her potential. And a lot of them will come in when they're at a weaker state, when they haven't grown to their potential yet. And so she's being attacked prior to that. So she doesn't grow into her potential. If they can attack her, they're going to take her, and she won't be able to grow to her full potential of her spirituality. She's very powerful, and she doesn't realize it yet. So if she starts using her abilities and starts projecting outward as far as pushing out energy, creating love and light and pushing it out, she literally protects herself.
Well, then she needs to find somebody to tell her that.
Yeah.
Either way, seek out somebody, a psychic medium, much like yourself, but maybe somebody else that has less pessimism. little easier to deal with.
As we have a skeptic and non-open-minded person.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do. Is basically what we're saying. You have options here, but what you don't have is a lot of time. So I would seek that soon, sooner before later.
Yes, because and the other thing is people don't realize they're getting more and more paranormal activity. Yes, we are going to mention this name that you don't like. Mercury retrograde creates more paranormal. It literally gives a supercharge to a lot of the paranormal during that time. And so you will feel it more during that time and see it more. Because it's almost like they supercharge them or zap them because they literally show themselves more during that time. But there's also the veils are getting very, very thin where you're able, and people are evolving so they're able to see. I mean, there's a lot going on right now. People have no idea. And you really need to start learning more of your spirituality, learn how to use it, but learn how to protect yourself. Because it's coming. People are going to start seeing it whether they like it or not now.
Gotcha.
Michael.
What? Sorry, I just had a flash from The Replacements go through my head when you were talking.
I see.
No, it's relevant.
Mm-hmm.
What my reaction would have been. That's why I was kind of chuckling.
Okay.
Because I use the line a lot. But anyway, all right. Let's move on to our last story.
All right. Story number 4. Almost. Okay, can I say this word?
Yes, you can. I've said it like 4 times already this hour.
Did I? Oh, okay. Are you?
I did. You.
Okay, I did. Almost shit myself. Home alone experience. So I'm playing Xbox in my living room for multiple hours, maybe 3 or 4, with all of the lights off at night. My girlfriend is still at work. Well, this is something a familiar one. Okay, suddenly my cat starts making weird noises and looking up towards the double French doors that are adjacent to my Xbox set. I take my attention away from my game to check what my cat's meowing is all about. Goosebumps shoot up my spine, and the moment my attention was toward the French doors, I could see that what looked like a transparent woman with long black hair standing in front of the doors looking out the window. My heart started racing, and I shrieked. You know, when you're on the phone and your PC for an extended period of time with the brightness maxed and no blue light glasses. When you look away into the darkness, the light from the screen still impressed in your mind's eye. I essentially chalked it up to that. But in Gears of War 1, multiple player online, there isn't a woman with long hair in a white dress or anything like that. A few weeks later, we had a pool party, and nearing the end, I was in a conversation with my girlfriend's mom, whose black cat had recently passed. She told me that when her cat passed, she had a vision of her cat transformed into a woman with long black hair. We live in an en suite of the parents' place. Was this the vision of the woman that I saw in front of the double doors? Am I just seeing blue light? Not a lot of experience with the paranormal ghosts in my life. Only one other time when I was younger at my parents' home. I heard doors slamming, and when I investigated, none of the windows were open and nobody was home. Yes, we were actually just talking about, it's going to be the opposite, where the cat is turning it back into the woman. Yes, definitely. Kind of funny, this conversation had already come up prior. So yes, the cat can turn back into a woman, and vice versa, come back as a cat. So it's coming back into her true form of when she was a human. And he just saw the vision of her coming, either past life or coming life.
So what you're saying is that this female soul was imprisoned in a cat, and then once she got parole or was released, the cat died, and she was able to go back to being a long-haired woman.
It wasn't imprisoned. It just probably just lived. It lived out its lesson.
It was a cat. It was obviously a prison sentence.
In your eyes.
In everybody's eyes, Sena, except yours.
Except mine. And all other cat lovers out there.
Yeah. Whatever. So, prison sentence aside. So basically what you're saying is that the black cat that did die was housing a human spirit or a human soul. And then once it died, obviously that soul was released to go back to being a human. But why? A what?
If it chooses, yes.
So why is it still there then? I mean, why did it not go back to the Akasha records, or why did it not transcend to the other side?
A lot of pets won't. For instance, I had a cat whose brother had passed, and literally within a week of its passing, he showed up at my house, and I'm like, Raph, what are you doing here? And I looked, I'm like, oh, you're here for Nala, and it's because they're siblings, and he literally came to say goodbye to her, and then he chose to go visit the other siblings, because he actually also visited one of his other sisters that my daughter's best friend has, one of the other siblings of it. And when he finally passed over, he literally combined part of himself into two cats, because now they act differently and act like him. But they will come back and visit or choose to stay. They can hang around just like we do.
Do you think that if you had a pet that had a human soul in it, do you think that it would stick around and haunt you because you named it a really stupid name?
No, they'd probably laugh about it, because they probably just think, oh, that was karma. I deserve that one.
I don't know. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I would find that funny.
Well, they don't find names don't matter to them.
Okay, well, that's another question I can ask for a second hour.
Labels are just human things.
They're human souls.
No, they label themselves. When you label things, it's just a human thing.
I see. Kind of like time is a human construct. It's a human invention.
Yeah, this labels come from human. Humans got to label everything.
Yeah, that's why we have label makers. So we have to. We have to label literally everything. Anyway, all right. So, yeah, okay. because this was another one that I wanted to know about, the whole cat into the woman. But I mean, this, because originally when I was reading this, before I got to the whole conversation with the girlfriend's mother, I was thinking it was a residual thing, because the whatever this spirit wasn't interacting with him whatsoever. He just happened to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that the cat had died and turned into it would lead me to believe that this woman is well aware
Yes.
that she is a spirit and whatnot, and is just kind of hanging around.
No, what was she doing? She's looking out a window. What does a cat do? They usually sit on a windowsill and look out the window. That's exactly what she was doing.
So she was being lazy.
No, she was just still had cat tendencies and looking out a window.
Which is them being lazy. Just saying.
You just don't like cats. So it's all going to be negative to you anyways.
I just like making fun of cats, and you know this.
Yes, I do.
I have owned cats, not like personally, but my family has owned them when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. And
Okay.
I still remember we called one cat Kitzer. I did not name it. It's a terrible name, which is why I'm probably still haunted by it.
Mm-hmm.
By the soul of that cat.
You're haunted by the soul of that cat.
I think so. And that's what I'm saying. When you call them stupid names like Kitzer, they're probably going to want to hang around to make sure you suffer.
No, they're going to hang around because they know they can taunt you because you don't like cats.
That's whatever. Tomato. Who cares about their motivation? But I remember holding this cat in my arm like a baby. And it was just looking at me with like serial killer eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like taking its paws and just like slowly scraping them along my forearm. And that's literally like the only experience with that cat that I remember vividly. Just the way it was looking up at me with anger and hatred in its eyes as it slowly tried to scratch me to death and claw its way into my forearm. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, so again, I really don't have much to add to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously don't think that you don't need to shit yourself. I know that it's probably it's a shocking moment. Like, it's not something you expect to see.
Mm-hmm.
But this person, whether he sees her again or not, no need to be frightened. This female spirit is obviously not there to harm anybody in any way, shape, or form. I mean, she probably sees the girlfriend's family, as her family.
Yes.
And so she's just there. Maybe she's trapped, and that's why she's looking out the window, dreaming of better days.
She's just hanging out like we do when we're human, the soul when it passes. Stay there for a little bit looking before they pass on.
But why can't you just give it to me, Sena?
I can't do that.
Just give me the point. No, I get it. I was just making a joke again. Mm-hmm. And it's always funnier when it has to be explained. So, anyways, well, that does it. Right on time for hour 2. But that is obviously this week's mailbag. And again, if anybody out there that's listening, if you would like to send in a paranormal question or a paranormal story for Dave and I, or if Sena's here for Sena and I to do, odysseyfilesradio@gmail.com. You can go ahead and send that in. What are you doing?
I knew you were going to do that. I have this page. I'm hot. Okay, stop.
You're fanning yourself? Turn on the air.
Because it's noisy. You don't like it when I have any kind of noisy. What is that? There's noise behind there. What is that? So
well, you're really doing a good job with the fan. Whatever. Anyway. Really? Because like my central air is always, well, it's not always on, but I mean, it's always going to turn on. And it's never heard. I
Yeah,
wonder why
I have a new place.
I know, which is why it should be quiet as shit.
It is. It
Well,
is.
then you don't need to worry about it being on.
I don't have it on.
I know. But I'm just saying, you don't need to worry about it being on.
Okay.
Anyway, that's another story. So, hour 2, main topic tonight. It's Paranormal Buffet, which means Sena and I are just going to argue for the next hour.
Woohoo!
Actually,
Let's do this.
We are going to talk about some certain topics and whatnot, and I don't, unless I'm just trying to be a douche canoe, I don't really see us trying to arguing all that much. Okay, so here's the first topic that I would like your opinion on. And I actually asked this question at our latest investigation, and I think it was like the first time, so shockingly, that I've asked this before, but I've never gotten an answer. So we were at a historical location. It was the Andrew J. Folstead House. And he was a congressman for like 12 years. He was mayor of Granite Falls here in Minnesota. Like, he's had a long political and very important career. Like, there's still a legislature. Like, he was involved in prohibition. In fact, I think his name is tied to prohibition, even though he was very anti-prohibition. I had no idea how that all came about. I did ask, never got an answer. But we knew he was there with us. His wife, Nellie, was there with us. And we believe his daughter, Laura, was there with us. All passed away at different times, different places. But for whatever reason, they were there with us during our investigation. And so I asked them, I'm like, why are you still here? Like, when spirits have the option, and spirits are the ones that have the options, ghosts, as you say, are the ones that are stuck. So, but when they have the option of crossing over and blah, 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 and doing all this stuff and going to heaven and having that sense of thing, or going to the Akasha records, which I mentioned earlier, what keeps them here? Like, what makes them come back to like their old homes and stuff like that instead of going over there?
It's their happy place. This is what brings them joy and a lot of happy memories. So that's where they would rather be.
Okay, well, next topic.
Okay, so for instance, so go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, but isn't that what heaven is for?
Not everybody wants to be there. They want to hang with their family and just their family and just hang out.
And they have their family there?
Yeah.
Well, all I'm saying is that we're fed the line that heaven is the place to go, that is your reward.
Yeah.
For a life well lived, and hell is your consequence for a life not well lived.
No, hell is earth.
Right. No, there you go. So why is somebody choosing hell over heaven?
Because they didn't make it hell here for themselves. They made it a very happy, loving place. And so they want to stay in that happy, loving place.
Which is then disrupted by a bunch of strangers coming into their house to interview them.
Mm-hmm. You've seen the movie Others with Nicole Kidman. She didn't know she was dead.
I have not, actually. I know what.
Spoiler.
No. I know what it is. Okay. I know what the movie is, and I know what kind of like the twist is. Mm-hmm. Dave and I have talked about it all kinds of times. You almost wonder if, when people have claims of encounters with apparitions and stuff in their home, and their apparition looks like just as surprised to see them as they see the apparition, that if you're not encountering.
Yeah, some of them don't know they're dead. Some of them seriously do not know they're dead, or they're in denial. Mm-hmm. The 9/11, and I hate to bring this up, but a lot of the souls there did not know they were dead.
I can see that. Absolutely, I
That
can.
happens as well. That's why some of them stay there, because they really don't know they're dead. They're just trying to figure out why you keep coming in their home, or
Right.
they keep reliving this over and over again. They don't realize that they're dead, and they
Well, I
keep
mean,
on.
and that's been my take in investigations at all. I mean, you have clients, and I've had multiple over the years of people who feel like they have a very menacing and aggressive and evil spirit and stuff in their homes that's trying to like force them out and all this stuff. And I'm like, that may not even be the case. This may be complete just misunderstanding. You could
Yeah.
be dealing with a former homeowner who doesn't know why you're in his home.
Right.
And what would you do if all of a sudden you came home from work and there's a whole brand new family in your house?
Right.
You'd probably be pretty upset.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that's why no matter what the claims are, I always try to go in with respect to try, because it may just be a misunderstanding.
Yes.
You need the other side of the story. The only problem is it's hard to get that other side.
Psychics. That's why you have psychics in your group, and mediums, because they tell you before the microphone or anything. You don't want a psychic coming in there and telling you everything, because you want to have some evidence. By
Yes.
the way, psychics, can we talk about this? Do not talk. People want evidence.
Yes.
If you're in paranormal teams, please do not tell people what's going on, because they want to see things on the equipment. Not everybody will tap into their abilities and need to see proof. Human side, yes, but please, it's going to tell you, if you are in a paranormal team, please let their equipment do the job until they ask you.
I assure you, people, I did not put her up to that.
No, I just don't like when people do that.
Well, no,
There's a
I
reason
know.
why you're on a team. Start
Well,
being a team member.
but I mean, I had like an hour-long conversation with Amy today about, just fully going over, this is how I like to use mediums on the team. And you really just repeated everything that I had just said and how I like to utilize mediums. I want your impressions. I want what you get. I want all that information, but after the investigation.
Correct. Be respectful. Be respectful to people on the team.
Yeah, mediums.
Yeah, I am.
I know. That wasn't against you.
I stand back until you guys wait, and then I'm like, oh, okay.
I agree. And you've been on a full-on investigation with me, and I the only thing that I ever really asked you is like, are they here and are they listening? That's the only thing I really want to know. That's it.
Yep.
And I can take it from there. And that was the whole sex debacle.
Yep.
Which was hilarious. Still a great story I like to tell. But it honestly, again, that's your fault, because you were the one that told me that they were bored, and so I had to spruce it up. But anyways, I digress again. So, are there any signs? Because I don't ever want to take, if somebody is there, if a spirit is at a location, because that is their happy place, that is where they just want to be. And I have cases where I have had that. But the homeowner is like, I want these spirits out of here. They freak me out. I don't want them here. Yada, yada. I want my house to myself. Yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Are there signs that an investigator could look for, or questions that they could ask that would make the spirit, and I use the term make, lightly, but could cause the spirit, let me just say that instead of make, cause the spirit to actually state their case, or to answer that question?
Just ask it.
I have, but I never get a response. So you're smiling, and I know that this is going to be an anti-me answer, which is fine. But I mean, I want to know why they're there. That's why I am there.
Right.
That's what the whole point of the investigation is, to get their side of the story.
Right.
Yet I can't seem to get them to give me their side of the story.
Because you won't believe in your abilities, so you won't allow them to come through so you can hear them.
Of course, I will let them come through. Well, not with me specifically, but I want them to give their answers on the recorder.
Then you have to explain that. You keep expecting something to happen. Tell them, can you please tell us verbally on a recorder because we want to hear it? You know, you put these things out there and they're looking at them going, what the heck is that? I've had this happen. I've had this happen. I was in a brothel investigation in Deadwood, and it was a couple of the people that you happen to know, and it was awesome. Char and Kim, her partner, we were up, and they wanted to speak to. It was in a brothel that, of course, the people don't know this, but they've had brothels all the way up until I think 1985, I believe, in Deadwood, South Dakota. Well, we were up in the brothels because obviously there's nothing going on there, but there is a lot of spirits of a lot of the older, people there that used to reside. And when they set the recorder down, the EMT to have them talk on it, I had to laugh because I'm watching them and they put the recorder in there and like, okay, we want them to talk on this. I says, then you need to tell them. I says, these girls are up. I'm going to tell you. They're up at this, and this thing is about, okay, it's about this big, it's on the middle of the floor. And these girls, you have to remember, they're from a different era. So they're walking up to this thing and they're like, that's really cool because they're seeing the lights blink. They're just looking at it. They have no idea that this is where they're supposed to talk or say anything. It is cool to them because they've never seen this before. Tell them, this is where we hear you from. This is how you talk into it. Can you please tell us? Or talk so it will come through here.
I explain every piece of equipment that we are doing, and I explain that they need to talk into I even point at the recorder, and I'm like, this is where you need to talk to. I do that. However, I want to point this out to help your point. So a couple weeks ago, we were investigating the Volstead house, and there was a medium there who was trying it out. She was doing everything that annoys me.
Not me, by the way, guys.
No, it was not her. Absolutely was not Sena. Sena knows better. Plus, it would definitely not be the first time that you did it. But she was answering for the spirits. She was spitting out everything that she was getting. And honestly, I mean, even though that wasn't why we were there and it was annoying the shit out of me, what she was saying was interesting. And I got a new perspective that I had not gotten before. And I was asking questions, when I could finally get, to a couple when she would stop talking. But one of the things that she was saying and picking up on was Andrew's like frustration with the fact of, I have already answered this. Mm-hmm. I answered this for you. Yeah. Why are you not picking this up? And I talked into your device and I answered the question, but yet you're not getting it. And I sat there for probably a good minute or so and explained, like the first time in 13 years, I explained the disconnect between their side and ours. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I know that you talked into this recorder and I thank you for that. I'm like, but I'm not going to hear it until I go home. I'm like, so the fact that you answered the question, I don't know that. I don't know what your answer is. And so I'm wondering how often that happens. Because I have been in several investigations where I have had a medium say something along the lines of, they answered your question. Mm-hmm. But then like I get home and I listen on the recorder or whatever, and there's nothing there. So, I mean, I don't doubt the fact that they try to answer it. Mm-hmm. But, how do you as an investigator, I mean, I know it's a little different for you because you can just telepathically or psychically tell them whatever you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess how much of a common occurrence is that disconnect between the investigator and the spirit when they do use the recorders?
Oh, a lot, because, well, there's just so much to it. They get so bored with all the questions. So bored.
Which
Yeah,
is why
remember,
I try to throw out a sex
yeah.
question here and there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I had to. No, I went on an investigation with one of my first paranormal teams. That they asked me to be in, and we're sitting in this farmhouse, and they had this thing, and they wanted the boy to talk into this thing, and he's talking to me the whole time. He's sitting there staring at me, and he's looking at me, and he's like, "I'm telling them this, they aren't listening." And I said, "Okay, what do you want me to tell them?" Because it's like he's trying to talk through this, but for some reason it's not coming through, like you said. And so I would have to tell him. And then, and it was kind of funny because during that, they had the recorder in the middle of the room in one of the bedrooms. But somebody kept, as it got darker, somebody kept going by, one of the investors kept going by the window, and he kept going, "Tell him to go away from the window. Tell him to go away from the window." Because he was scared about, there was a spirit outside of the window that he wanted to keep him away from. And so he's trying, so even though he's being asked a question, somebody was doing something else that he was trying to communicate with the other person. So not everybody was in on the conversation of what was being asked, of the majority of the group, but somebody was doing something else, and he was paying more attention to what that other person was doing because he wanted to try to keep them safe. And so there's a lot of things that could be going on that you have no idea, if, and so they will tell you, but then they're going to run over to help somebody else because they're not doing what they, it's like, stay away from that. Don't do that, or, because it's just a lot of things going on and a lot of spirits. And all I can tell you is, yes, that happens so often when, okay, they just told me something else too, by the way. And okay, you're going to help me say they, sorry, my spirit guides and the higher self. These spirits will be saying something, and there will be an interference to not allow that to come through for some reason. There's going to be something that's going to interfere with that. And that's why another reason you will not hear it. For some reason, somebody else doesn't want you to hear it. Some other spirit doesn't want you to hear them.
Well, how do you nullify that? How do you counter it?
That's really, again, that's where the mediums come in, because you're like, okay, there's two spirits here, and one's going to cause you problems, and the other wants to talk to you. There is a lot. Like I had one that was just sitting in the closet watching. He goes, "I'm not coming out of there," and the boy was just sitting right beside me.
I mean, it almost sounds like you're in between a rock and a hard place. You're the immovable object trying to do the the unstoppable force. Like you just have this catch-22 because you're trying to get them to answer you as a paranormal investigator. They're trying to, but it's not coming through for whatever reason, whether it's an interference, whether it's another spirit, whether they're just not talking loud enough for the recorder, whether wrong frequency, whatever. And so they have to go to the medium, but you can't trust that the medium is saying it, especially the way it's supposed to be, because whatever a medium says, yes, it helps. It helps an investigation, but you can't use that as evidence.
No. Okay. So here's the other ways they say to do it. Obviously, there's several different rooms in a place, and they say take the one spirit that's willing to talk. If the medium can at least tell you that, say, "I've got this one, and he does want to talk, and wants to, and does, have them come into a different room and make sure there's only one spirit in there that will talk."
Interesting. That's good advice, Sena. I like that. Because I do ask, I did it to you. I do it to Scott all the time. One of the only questions that I will ask during an investigation of my medium, which I want the answer to, is are they here and are they listening?
Correct.
And so if all they would have to say is, yes, there's a spirit that wants to talk, let's go into another room to communicate with them.
Yeah, and then let the medium verify that you're the only ones in there then, and so then he can talk or they can talk.
I like that. Thank you.
Welcome.
the other since we were just on kind of and this is for all paranormal investigators out there, and I've thrown this question out ever since I actually got it answered. Um and I haven't gotten an answer yet since. But I was at a historical location. We were doing the whole equipment. Can you set this off? Can you do this? Can you let us know you're here? Blah blah blah. But we had the spirit box going. I think late. You know me. I do the spirit box at the end of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing that, and for the first time there, I asked the question: is this equipment harder for you to use than we think it is? And I shit you not, we got 3 different yeses right after I asked that question. And ever since then, I've been a lot more patient. I mean, not to say that I was impatient beforehand, but I understand now. Yes, you may be trying to use this equipment, but maybe it's just not as easy as just go over there and touch it. Like that might not be the easiest thing for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I often, if I feel like there's a presence there, but they're not using the equipment, I do ask, is this equipment harder for you to use than we think?
Mm-hmm.
And I've never gotten an answer since, but I've never asked that question. Wait, I think I have during a spirit box session, but I've never gotten an answer since. But as a medium who has been out there many, many times and has seen the gadgets, you've seen my gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair to say that
Yeah.
it's just not as easy for them to use it as we think?
Yes, for one, we've got meat suit. Some of them don't know how to use their energy yet, and they can still walk through walls, but then try to hit a solid energy. We got to remember everything vibration. It's vibrating, and for that spirit to push a button or try to use that to talk doesn't always work. I mean, they think that they're supposed to be pushing that to make it work. Energy can just come through. Just like when you said before, the first hour we're talking about hearing the child on the intercom.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to be heard. She's going to be heard. She knows that that's a microphone. But she's also seen other people use it.
So if we were the only ones to go into a house with, let's just say, a REM pod, and we explained to them how to use it,
Mm-hmm.
it might still not even be able to use it because they've never actually seen anybody actually use it.
Right. So use it. Show them. Say this.
I do.
Right. No, but it's just like, and then say, are you able to push this to use it, and do you want to?
I do say that too. I say, if you're able and willing,
Mm-hmm.
is typically how I phrase
Okay.
when I'm asking them to do something with the para-REM or the REM pod or the
Mm-hmm.
K2 or anything like that. Okay.
They don't know if they can trust you either. They're careful with what they use.
Yes, they can.
No, they're careful too. They don't know if you're trying to do something. They're not going to trust you.
Thank you, because that's segue into another topic that I wanted to talk about tonight. And that is, so Dave and I have talked many, many, many times about global consciousness, but that's a human living thing.
Correct.
And I told this to you when I was talking to you the other night, and I said, Dave, when Dave and I were investigating together before I started Odyssey, before he kind of semi-retired and all that stuff, when we were investigating a lot together, he would often say to the spirits, you can trust us. If you don't want to believe us, go to this place. I'll just use the Leduc Mansion as an example. That's not what Dave said, but I'm just using that as an example because I have a very good rapport with the spirits there. Go to this place, talk to the spirits. They'll tell you we're good guys. And honestly, like more often than not, after he would say that, it did kind of seem like we would get more interaction. Whether it was like the feeling, whether it was knocks, whether it was the equipment, whatever. And I really have never said. Maybe I have once or twice just to follow up on our own investigations. But I posed the question to you: is it possible to tell spirits in one location that if maybe they don't trust us or whatever, maybe they don't understand why we're here or what we're doing, go to this place and talk to this spirit or
Yeah.
something like that. They will tell you.
Yeah, they're all connected. They're like, because that's what they're like, hey, oh, you've got access to my son, or you're in the same place as so and so. Can you please give them a message for me?
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, but that had to do specifically with what happened at the Volstead house, which we may get into later. Uh, but I'm just talking about in general. So I could literally be like, if you want to check my references, go here. And they would,
Yes.
and if they were interested in doing so, they could actually leave quickly and come back quickly, I hope.
They don't leave.
They
They
don't
don't.
even leave.
They don't leave. They're all connected. So all they have to do, it's like a mind link or anything. They just go, hey, so and so, he's asking. Yep. Okay.
Yep, they're good guys. You never had a problem with them. Go ahead
Yeah.
and communicate.
Yeah, but they don't have to leave.
Oh.
You're dealing with a human thing now. And so they're not human. They don't have a meat suit. So
I
they
get
can,
that.
yeah, they're
Okay,
connected. They're
well,
all
I
like,
just thought
hey,
they would like zoom away to wherever that location is and then zoom back.
no, tap in, tap out.
I see. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to try that. You think if I added that to my introduction, like that would be helpful?
Yeah, because you want to let them to, because if they have a trust issue and they want to talk to people that are on the other side, other ones, say, hey, talk to them. And if you don't trust me, then these are ones that I have talked to before and other, it's so, and they can give you verification that I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to talk. I just want to hang with you guys. How you doing?
Okay. All right. I mean, because I would think that over the years, there's several places that I think I've built a pretty good rapport with the spirits that reside there. Um, so yeah, okay. I'm learning shit. This is great. I like it.
We're all connected.
Yes. You tell me that every day. Well, not every day, but every time I talk to you.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if you have a meat skin on or not.
So, okay. Well, so paranormal investigators out there, there you go. If you have a reputation that you believe of not being douchebags, uh, if you have a spirit who may be hesitant to talk to you, call up your references. let them. What?
Goes for the opposite too, though. You be respectful to them because the word's going to get out about you, and you're going to get in big trouble.
I'm only respectful. You know
No, I
this.
know that, but I'm just saying also.
Oh, in general, right?
Yeah. So so investigators, be respectful. Do not try to irritate or cause problems just to get some information and them to talk or whatever, because you're going to get in big trouble.
But basically, don't provoke just to get an experience.
Nope. You be respectful.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Okay, let's see here. Got that. All right. So, moving on, unless you have something else you want to add to this.
No.
No? Okay. You know what? I'm going to come back to what we were just going to what I was going to switch it to, because there's another thing in here that you said earlier that is a question that I've been asking since I got into this.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I cannot get the spirits to give me a name. I can't. I just nowhere. Whether, in fact, only recently, twice actually, same name, same during a spirit box session, same name, same voice, and both times it was to the question of, "Can you tell me your name can you let me know who you are, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, for years and years, at least 3-4 times a night, I ask for a name. I've even started adding in, what would you like us to call you, just in case maybe they don't like the name John or something like that. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they know what all of their other names were and they have a favorite. I cannot get an answer to that to save my life. And you had said, and of course we were talking about, human spirits and dogs, but it has been theorized by other people, not me, that names just aren't important once you get over to the other side. And that is why I can't get a name, because it's like, and that's why I added in, what would you like us to call you, instead of what is your name? Because I mean, if they have a dozen lifetimes, which they now know about, what name do they even pick? Do I have to phrase it as, what name in your most previous life were you called?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a human thing. A human's got to label everything. That's a human.
Label maker, baby.
Yeah.
Called the birth certificate.
Death certificate.
Well, no. Birth certificate labels your name. The death certificate labels your death. Whatever. Anyway. So how do you phrase that? Or is there a reason beyond them not caring what names are anymore on how to get one? I mean, you have to call them something.
Right. So you can ask them what, yeah, like you said, you can ask them what they would like to be called. And it's, like I said, it's not important to them. It's like, I'm here, I'm a little boy, I'm here, I'm a male, I'm female, and this is what I used to do when I was here or when I was alive. I was the wife, I was the husband, I was the child. But a name, sometimes they'll tell you the name and sometimes they won't. We've had it where, again, the little boy was talking to me, sitting right beside me, had no idea about that doggone recorder, but I could tell you what his name was and everything, because he was communicating with me of what his previous life was and his name was. But it's like, we know that you were here and had a previous life. In this previous life, can you please tell me what your name is?
Okay, because I mean, I can definitely phrase it like that. That's not an issue at all. I remember, and of course this is from the medium, but I can completely see this actually being the case. Is when we were at this past investigation, I had said that it's the Andrew Volstead house, so we were always calling him Andrew, and his wife Nellie. Well, the medium was saying she kept on getting Mr. Volstead.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that actually makes sense, because I mean, he's a congressman, he's a mayor, he's a political
Yes.
Of course, he's going to want to be called Mr. Volstead in his home.
Yes.
Until we started playing poker. Because that was one of the things he was known for, is he would host a weekly poker game with like his buddies or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So as to try to connect with them and stuff like that, we played a game of poker.
Mm-hmm.
And I had accidentally called him Andrew when we were starting to play, and Jamie, who was the medium, was like, Mr. Volstead. And I'm like, no. We're playing poker. We're buddies now. He's Andrew. And and the next thing she said was, yeah, he's okay with that. Like, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But I completely got that. And I remember we were doing another historical place that the person had their own chapel built into their house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing our investigation or whatever. And I asked that we had a medium there with as well, just learning her trade. And I asked her, are they getting anything? What was their impression? And the thing that she said to me is, hats off. Because I had my hat on. And I'm like, that absolutely. Yeah. And took my hat off, and I've never worn it in that place, in that chapel again. So I mean, I get that, and again, that's a disconnect between their side and ours. Like, I don't know. And I'm always asking for messages. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Is whether it's to us, and we never get a response.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
so why don't you ask them how they want to communicate to you?
I have done that too. And have never got an answer there either. I have said, what is the easiest way for us to communicate with you? And I've never got an answer to that either. So I mean, this is all learning experiences, and I bring it up because I'd like, since you have communicated with them for many, many years, and spirits from all walks of life and ages and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I go to you. Well, this is why I ask you these questions, because I want to learn how I can best do this to get the evidence, the scientific evidence that I need to prove their existence, I guess you could say. Or just,
you're not going to like this answer.
I know I'm not.
No, it's an expensive answer. That's why. Frequency, everything is in frequency. Any frequency meter or something. Okay, they have, when you do music, you got the, that's how you can talk to them, is through that. Because it can pick up, no matter what frequency they talk in, it can pick it up.
So I have started to do that a lot. Like, there's been a lot of places that I've been to where I will play like Amazing Grace. Everybody loves that song, especially, and it goes back, I don't want to say thousands of years. It goes back a long, long time.
Yes.
We when we go out to the cemetery, we really like to go to, there's a lot of veterans in the cemetery. And so when I get done with my introduction, I play the Star Spangled Banner. Just kind of as a tribute to them. And sometimes you get that really good response, and other times they're like, maybe you've done it too much. I don't know. But I do agree with you on music. We have also attempted a different sort of experiment going on with frequency. And that is, we'll put walkie-talkies all over the house and then leave the building. And we did that at the case that you were on.
Yeah.
Where we went out to the car and we did an EVP session without even being in the house. So, I mean, is that the kind of thing that you're talking about when it comes to different frequencies, or am I just wasting my time?
No, that's very good, because it just picks up, because it can be, and a lot of the walkie-talkies and stuff, those are actually on, you have to actually turn them on different frequencies to pick it up. But yeah, it's having a machine that can pick up different frequencies at the same time. So when they're talking, you can pick it up. It's like what like NASA and stuff use for aliens when they're talking to them. They can hear it because it's on different frequencies. And it's the exact same thing in the paranormal, because they're talking on different frequencies.
Can you explain the sentence that you just said, when NASA speaks to the aliens?
Yeah, they talk to other species and other people. Yeah, if you don't know that, come on, you
heard it here first, folks.
They've been talking to aliens for years.
I know. So then let me ask you this, because I'm sure that every spirit, whether it's a spirit or a ghost, probably vibrates at a different frequency. So in order to properly communicate with them, won't you have to find their frequency?
No.
Or they all go at the same frequency.
And this is something I've been told. I don't have proof. The human body itself, the human that's here, I think it's at a C note. And the human level, I believe their vibration is at a C note. But it's a certain that all the humans have that vibration tune. They're all tuned into all the same frequency. That's how they can communicate. That's how they can see each other, because that's the vibration. So I believe that's also an octave that they're using when they're talking is a specific frequency. But when they're on the other side or passed over or both, I don't know if they keep that frequency, same frequency, because obviously we can't see them anymore because they don't have the meat suit. And so now they're, we can see them transparently, but we still can't pick up them talking to us unless we are tuned as far as our psychic ability.
All right. I'm thinking I understand, and I'm kind of glad you phrased it like that, because that kind of leads me into my next question.
Okay.
One of the things that I've been looking at buying, and this comes from The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
And because pretty much any time that they have any sort of weird happenings, and this deals more with extraterrestrial stuff than it does supernatural,
mm-hmm.
they get a 1.6 gigahertz. And they get that because they have what they call a spectrum analyzer. And it obviously reads the entire frequency and vibration spectrum around.
Yeah.
So would it be a decent purchase? Because like I said, I've been looking at this. If a spirit wanted to talk to us and they tried to interact with things and they were using their energy, would a spectrum analyzer pick up the frequency of which they're vibrating at?
Possibly. Yeah. Yes, because that does pick up different frequencies.
So if we had the spectrum analyzer going and we would ask a question, and then all of a sudden we'd get a spike at 900 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be, I don't want to say safe to say, but would it be a theorized type of way of thinking that maybe that's the frequency in which the spirit is talking in?
Yes.
So then we would need something like a microphone that would have a dial that would allow us to speak in that frequency. Is that even possible?
No, but you can tune a mixer to that.
Well, that's what I mean. Could you change?
Yeah, the microphone itself. Yeah, by using, because you're talking about a microphone. It's not the microphone itself. It's a mixer that you would have to connect to. Yes.
Interesting.
So how they separate. When they show you that you can separate music because it's got or even somebody's talking, they separate the different voices because they're all at different frequencies. And I'm sure you've seen this on movies and stuff like that, where they literally separate it, and you can see, oh yeah, you got three people talking, so you can see the different frequencies.
Well, sure. I mean, you see it on crime shows a lot, where they take out the voices, then they take out the wind, then because they just want to hear the train horn that's way in the background.
Right, because everybody's voice is at a different frequency.
And I actually had that theory while we were doing a presentation at the Leduc. We were doing a spirit box session with everybody there. I wasn't really getting any responses when I would ask my questions, so I gave it to Haley.
Mm-hmm.
And she started asking questions, and all of a sudden we started getting answers. And so all of a sudden it occurred to me, clairsentience, that maybe her frequency for her voice obviously was different than mine, and they could hear her, but they couldn't necessarily hear me.
No, they liked her.
Wait, just shut up. Whatever. And yes, I'm sure they did, but they could still like me too.
I'm just gonna tell you that makes a huge difference too if they like you. I have fun with them. Because they get bored, and so I will like talk to them like drinks and let's go have a drink or food. I'm going to go have a steak or I'm going to have something, and that's how you get a lot of them to join in. when you start talking about food, and because you try to find a topic that they really enjoy, and you're going to get interaction just like that.
I agree, and honestly, I try that. I try that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly remember it's one of the greatest interview tips that I've ever heard. It wasn't given directly to me. It was something Jon Stewart said.
Okay.
And he said, no matter what the topic, no matter how serious, no matter how dark, no matter what, every couple of questions, he tries to say something funny
Mm-hmm.
because it lightens the mood. It
Correct.
brings, it brings you back in if you're starting to sway. And I try to use that in the investigations and, try to say something sarcastic or make a joke or, something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
so far, all it does is get the investigators around me to laugh and nobody else.
Okay, so here's another thing they said, and I've done this is again, it was in the same scenario. We went around the room and had people saying what kind of drink they were going to have or what they were going to have to eat. That ghost wanted to interact so bad and kept talking. You do that as well because they want to start interacting. When you got one that wants to talk, you're going to have somebody. They're going to, literally they want to join in.
It's just finding the topic.
Yeah, but that's what you keep playing with. And again, your medium, that's who your medium can tap in. It's like, you know what, in his previous life or her previous life, whatever, this was what they enjoyed. And so you can start talking about that, somebody who knows, and start talking about the subject. And you will start getting interaction.
All right. I now know exactly what I'm going to be purchasing first. After I get my car fixed tomorrow with the leftover money that I have in my account, I will finally be pulling the trigger on a spectrum analyzer.
Suggestion, just if you're just going to try it out, find one that's secondhand just to play with it, to check it out, instead of purchasing one and then going, this doesn't work and it was a waste of money. You can.
That's all I do, Sena.
I know.
All I do is buy very expensive equipment that I'll use 3 times and then never use again.
You do, I know.
It's why I have an SLS that was $1,275 that I will no longer use.
Yes.
I actually I used it at the Volstead house. The only problem is that the software is so janky that it's almost useless to me because it like just shuts off or corrupts itself or whatever 10 minutes after you turn it on. But
it's a software problem. You need to update it and check the internet because they might have an go on the website. They've had problems with this before.
When did you become an SLS expert?
I am a. Do you know what I do for a living?
Yeah, you use your mediumship abilities.
Yes, and I'm a senior production technician that deals with software, 3D printers, and circuit board repair. Of course, I'm going to know about that.
This is an SLS Connect cam. Why would you know about that?
Because I like to keep up on electronics.
Fine.
I know a lot about software and updates and why something's not working.
All right.
And it's compatible with a lot of the equipment that you're working with.
Well, that's probably true. I haven't been on digital dowsing in a long time, so you probably correct on that. Okay, interesting. All right. I feel the juice is flowing. This is good. I like this conversation. Too bad it has to end in like 5 minutes.
I was going to say we have 5 minutes left.
All right, so it's not long enough. Or we don't have enough time to really cover this next topic as appropriately as it should be, because I think it's an ongoing thing.
Okay.
And that is obviously society. And there are still a lot of people out there, no matter how mainstream the paranormal gets, like they're so completely anti what we do. Like it's almost amazing that in 2024 that there are still people out there who you say you're, a paranormal investigator, and they're like, you must be weird, or there must be something wrong with you to be doing that.
Yeah.
You had told me the story before the show, which obviously brought this up and caught my attention, of you went to an event this past yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Correct. Yes. Saturday. Yes. This is Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. You're right. Sorry. I just didn't think that we had talked that late at night. And I know I didn't get home until like 9:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
But you had said the line that when you showed up or whatever, they came over and they talked to you about a bunch of stuff, but that they had a reason to allow you to be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. And
you can mention it. Go ahead. You can say what it was about.
Oh, well, they had something they wanted you to do. Mm-hmm. I'll just say that.
Okay.
They had a task they wanted you to do that your specific gifts are known to be somewhat good for, mm-hmm. depending on the situation.
Yeah.
And so they, quote unquote, allowed you to be there so they could give you this task.
Correct.
And I guess my only thing is what the F? Like, that we're only good as paranormal people when they want something from us that they can't figure out themselves.
Because they've used all the resources that they can. So.
But my question is that why in this day and age, when the paranormal has been tossed into the mainstream for like over a decade now, are there still people so anti paranormal? Like they're still
small town. They're small town, and small town take a long time to catch up.
Yes, they do, and that's terrible.
But that is it. I'm just going to tell you, that is right there the main reason. Small towns have their own rules and their own laws. They make their own laws. They will. Small towns, a lot of the states, they are stuck in the old ways, and that is it.
Well, it's old ways suck. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it was a wake-up call when I walked in, and another friend of mine came with me. Yeah, it was a wake-up call for them, and it will be a wake-up call when I contact them about this certain situation as well. So.
All right. Well, I guess with the time that we have left, I mean, and honestly, this is a topic we could discuss even more, but
mm-hmm.
This particular instance, we'll just leave it at that. Okay. But for anybody who wants to, like normal, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me back on. Awesome.
Especially on such short notice, because I did not ask you until last night.
Yeah. Driving home at 10:30.
Yeah, exactly. But this was a good conversation. Honestly, it was. Usually I just argue with you and make jokes, and mm-hmm. that's the whole show. But honestly, got a lot of good information for me specifically.
Good to hear. Good.
And I hope for investigators out there that you will take this stuff as well, because I know if you're paranormal investigators, you run into the same problems that I do. Mm-hmm. This is not a me thing. This is a universal supernatural thing.
Correct.
And so one of those things is we just have to learn together. So if anybody wants to reach out to you, maybe they want a reading, maybe they want mentorship, maybe they just have questions, where can they get a hold of you?
My email, which is readingsbysena@gmail.com, or go on my website, insightfulsoul.com.
Sounds good. Well, that does it for us this week. I think we're going to have a show next week. Oh. The only reason I say I think is because I know Dave's taking Labor Day off. Shocker.
Oh.
Because it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't work on holidays. So I don't think that's next week. So we'll be back next week with another brand new episode. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe.
Bye, guys.
We want to see you back here.
All right.
Absolutely. Everyone, have a good night.
Good night.